Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to D-Backs Dispatch. I apologize. My mood will be changing throughout today's show. You'll see, like there, I was pretty energetic, and then there'll be some times where I just, welcome to D-Backs Dispatch. If this is your first time checking us out, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate the support. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you do get notified every time we go live and do a series recap like this one against the Tampa Bay Rays. If you're an audio listener, we are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so go ahead and check us out there. We are on Twitter. You can check us out here. Today's game, we were pretty minimal with our tweets. There wasn't really a lot to really discuss. We do have a Discord. The link is in the description box below. It's free. Just go ahead and check the link. There's a great group of D-Backs fans in there, so definitely go ahead and check it out. We're on TikTok and Instagram, and make sure to go ahead and check azsnakepit.com. Go ahead and check them out. They have some great articles. They do series recaps, series previews. They'll have other articles about the team, so definitely go ahead and check it out. So we'll start from Monday. Jacob McCarthy gets sent down to Reno. Not surprised by it. Like we all saw it coming, and when we did, our comments were flooded like Lawler time. Let's go Lawler. Lawler's coming up. No, he's not. Which I didn't expect him to, because until they show me otherwise, this team does not have a plan of how they would use Jordan Lawler if he comes up. They don't know if they want him to be that bench guy. Do they want him to be the third base guy, the shortstop, the second base, the DH? They don't know what they want to do. So I think for right now, and I think they want him to have more games under his belt at second and third base, because that's probably where he's going to end up playing if he does come up. So they brought up Jorge Barroza. Not shocking, just another outfielder there to kind of fill in there. So this has happened multiple times with Jake, where he struggles up here. They send him down to Reno, and he figures it out. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, or he does need to play day in and day out, or is it the competition? Like, is he a 4A player? Like, is he that fringe guy that plays well at the major level for a while and then pitchers figure him out? But he always seems to fix whatever the issue is. Gabe, like, what do you think the reason is as to why he has these struggles at the major league level, and then he goes down to Reno for like 4 to 6 weeks, and he seems to be the player that we all love watching?
So before I answer that, can I just talk about some of these chats real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a lot to say about them, but it's Scott Mack and B. They're both asking, like, or saying, about Lawler not, supposed not having enough experience at second, which to a certain extent it's true, but I think he's such a tremendous athlete that he can adjust to damn near anywhere you put him. Scott Mack is asking why not bench Suarez and use Lawler. So I have been counting the days and and games since Cattell went down. It's been 17 games, including today. And since then, Gerard Perdomo is hitting 219 with the 764 OPS. 219. He's been quite a black hole in that spot. You could have given him a day off. I know the spot is his at short, but when the guy isn't performing, there's nobody that he's being threatened to lose playing time with.
Yep.
Why does he need to adjust? Same with second base. Tall has been hitting home runs, which is great. The problem is that's kind of it. That I mean, it's great. It's great of him, but for the most part, that's kind of the mostly what he's been doing, just hitting home runs and stuff. So he'll adjust just the errors. I think he's had like 3 or 4 errors already. Again, could have him and Lawler, having a platoon there, and the main person I think right now is just Gino. Gino, since Cattell went down, he's hitting
It's
about.
first season. It's first season. First half last season. Gino again.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the whole thing last year when we talked about it was just we had nobody to replace them. There's no one better than Gino. Like as crappy as he was, there was just nobody to replace him at the major league level because maybe you could put in Kevin Newman there, but not really. There's just no one where you felt comfortable putting him in there. And we talked about Lawler a little bit, but at the time he had just gotten surgery, and at that time we felt like Lawler was healthy. I wish he could have been healthy, so then he can at least replace Gino. Every few days, give him a few days off his feet because the man cannot hit a fastball right now. Anything over 94 miles an hour, he's winging straight through it. And that's kind of half of this lineup. Like they just can't hit fastballs. David Smith has good numbers, but as soon as they throw him, fastballs over 95, he really struggles with them. He hasn't been able to move over runners or score with the runners scoring position. But yeah, it's just so frustrating to watch. And again, seeing highlight after highlight of Lawler in Reno, whether it's a defensive web gem or just destroying the cover off the ball, and you're just like, there's something this team needs, and it's a guy who can spark this offense because when you have the offense other than Corbin Carroll,
That's it. Like,
that's it.
like,
That's it. Everyone else is
like
him and Naylor, and even then Naylor can go over 3, over
Paven
4 once in
too.
a while.
Paven's
Pavin
been
as well.
pretty consistent for the most part.
He's been consistent. Main thing with Pavin, just he takes a lot of walks. Same with Perdomo, a lot of walks. But right now, we don't need guys who can get walks. We need guys who can produce runs. And fortunately, this team just isn't producing the runs. And people ask like, where are we going to play Lawler? I'm like, third, short, and second, because
Yeah.
the production coming out of those positions just isn't warranting, not playing him. So, in terms of Jake, I think to get back on topic, but to
You're welcome. You're
to the point
welcome.
about Jake, what about him? Changes the ring. I just think it's the fact that he's able to just play a lot more. We've been platooning him here for good reason. I mean, Alec is still hitting very well, and if he's not getting everyday play, in Reno he does. He's able to just get 6 at bats a game over and over and over again. So he's just able to work on it a lot easier. And with Jake, I don't know what it is. It's every time he goes down there, something changes. So I wonder if it's some sort of batting coach or something that they have down there that just unlocks something for him. So whatever it is, maybe they need to bring that hitting coach or something up.
It could also be because it's the Pacific Coast League. It could because we know what's like we see what some of these guys do, like hitting wise. So I think his first game wasn't Tuesday. Was it Wednesday? Was his first game down there? I'm trying to see if I can, because I thought I saw something like he had like four hits and two. Yeah, so he went 1 for 3 on Wednesday, and then tonight against Albuquerque, he went 2 for 4. So he's what 3 for 7 already. Just as many hits that he had up here in 3 weeks. So yeah, for me, I think it's a confidence thing. I think when he struggles, he has no confidence up at the plate, and like I feel like he presses a lot when he's up. Like he tries to get just get hit after hit, and I think he just tries too hard. But I think when he gets down there, I think he's able to get focus, center himself, and he gets the job done. So because I love watching Jake play. I do. Like Jake is so great to watch. I'm a little disappointed that this team has now missed 3 times to sell high on Jake McCarthy. So, and I think if he can get it together and he comes up here and he gets hot for 6 weeks, maybe by the All-Star break.
Especially because there was a lot of talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, Pete Fairbanks, and Jake McCarthy trade rumors swirling around,
Yeah.
and seeing Pete Fairbanks out there and Jake in Reno, you wonder kind of like what could have been.
Yeah, you definitely could. So I hope he does well. Dude, this get Garrett Hansen, you better get learn to learn Reno because that's where you're going when Ketel Marte is coming back. Tawa hit a home run on Tuesday. He hit another one today on Thursday. Like he's he's playing very well at the plate. His defense is still a little rough, but the fact is he's getting hits. Garrett Hampson wasn't getting hits. So I do not, regardless if Cattell is back or not, Tawa needs to be playing every day at second base. He really like the only time that I want to see Hampson playing is if they want to give Gino an off day because he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like that's how bad Gino is right now. So yeah, like I don't. It's so frustrating because Gina, Gino gave us all false hope that first series. It was like, oh, second half Gino is here to stay. Let's go. We all got excited. Yeah, that's pretty much all he's done. Like since that grand slam against the Yankees, really hasn't done very much. So that is kind of frustrating to watch. I would say though that game one was probably the best overall game of the season for the D-backs. Everything was working. Pfaadt pitched phenomenal. Bullpen looked great. Hitting did well. So I felt like that was the biggest thing. Pfaadt looked amazing in this game. Won 6 innings again. Like he's gone at least 6 in all but one start, which he should have gone 6 against the Marlins. That decision, and you kind of brought it up. It made no sense. He was facing a left-handed catcher that was hitting like 100 on the season. So like, and then due to that, like I felt like that had a massive ripple effect for the next week because that's basically since then we've been having these bullpen issues where like guys are just tired, like they're just being used way too much. So, but Pfaadt on the season is doing great. 4-1, just under 30 innings, 23 Ks, 2.73 ERA. He already has a .9 WAR, so that's really impressive. I would say all three of us here on the pod have been pretty much on the hype train with him since 2023. I got on it a little bit late. I didn't get on it until probably about the postseason. Brett was on it from day one, and Brett has been, and he probably always will be. And I know Gabe, you're really high on him. But what has impressed you the most about him to start the season?
I mean, just the fact that he hasn't had that blow up inning. We talked about it a lot last year about he was still going 6 innings. I mean, that's the thing. Go look at those numbers. The man was averaging 6 innings per start even last year. He was just eating up innings. He was saving a lot of the bullpen, and that was key for this team because of how many guys we had out, and just the fact that he was able to go 6 innings, like whether it was giving up 4 runs or no runs, um, he was able to give this team a fighting chance day in and day out. And something that we talked about is just like, man, he's just able to control that one bad inning. He's going to be just so incredible. And I know that's one of those things where it's kind of like those dumb baseball stats where they'll try to make a guy look good. And like, well, if you take out all his bad innings, look, he has a good inning, and then he has a 1 ERA when you take out all the bad stuff. And it's like, yeah, of course, but I think really in Brandon's case that was true, just because if he goes 6 innings and gives up 4 runs, those 4 runs came in 1 inning, whether it was the fifth or the sixth, they all would come then. They would all be in bunches. It wasn't like slowly giving up each run. So this year is just that. I think that's what's impressing me the most, just the fact that he's able to limit those really really bad innings, and he's given this team chance after chance after chance to win a ball game, and he's able to keep the score low enough to where this team doesn't have to score 7, 8 runs. And the starting pitching has been really, really solid the last 2 weeks or so. But still, just with the errors and everything, some guys have just been having their counts go way up. And even with Brandon, I don't think there was an error. There might have been like a misplay early on in this game too that I can remember of. Um, that made him throw some extra pitches, but still, the way he's able to lock back in just doesn't matter what the count is. He always comes back and he's just been able to get guys out.
Yeah, I think, and you kind of brought up the thing is he hasn't had that big blow up inning. Like he kind of had one inning against the Nationals, like kind of like, but it wasn't like a blow like what we've seen where he gives up like 4 runs. And the thing that and we brought it up, and after one of his starts, we're like, and because a lot of people were like he's not getting as many strikeouts, and we were like, do we want him to be strikeout heavy, or do we want him to go deep in the games? I said deep in the games. And so like he's been staying out of the zone going for the strikeouts, which I'm okay with. Because if that means that he goes 6 innings every time out, he's gonna be at like 190 plus innings by the end of the year. And it's just gonna make Mike Hazen look like even more of a genius for that extension that they signed before the season. Sorry, that was during the season actually. Like it was like right into the season. So I just want to see him continue to do well. Eventually, teams are gonna probably adapt to him. I want to see him adapt back because that's all baseball is. Is you'll be good for a bit, your opponents will adapt to you, but can you adapt to the changes that they made to you? And I think so far, over the last season or so, I think he's done that very, very well.
Yeah, and I think the key with him is to um, be able to get past. I believe 160 was his career high, or 150 something was his career high before last year. After he hit that point, I remember we talked about it a bit too. Up until that point, he had like a 3.3 ERA before he reached the 150 mark. And as soon as he hit that 150, 160 mark, which was the highest of his career, his ERA went up by an entire run suddenly, like just because he just really struggled. He was still going deeper into games, but in those games, he was giving up 4 runs, and you just knew after that, like you know, late August and into September, it was 6 innings and 4 runs every single time out, and just wasn't able to limit the runs. And so this year, I think for him, the main key is that limit the big innings, but also whatever it is, whether it's the stretching routines, physical therapy, whatever it is, to keep him fresh enough to be able to throw past 150 160 innings, because those last 30 innings that he's going to pitch for the at the end of the year are going to be key.
Yeah, I think this team is going to need him because if things are trending the way that they are right now, Gallon may not be on this team August 1st. Just saying. I know a lot of people like that's a big question. Like, does this team trade Gallon at the deadline if they're not in a good spot to potentially make the playoffs? So we'll just have to wait and see. But I like in probably 2023, like before the playoffs, when he started, I was very like, I don't know how I feel about his starts. Now I look forward to Pfaadt bump days. Um, so, um, yeah, like right now it's him and Kelly. Like the other three for me is very hit and miss. And we'll kind of transition there to game two, which we lost. Eduardo Rodriguez pitched game two. He he did pretty well for the most part. Like it wasn't like a fantastic outing, but it wasn't like a terrible outing for Eduardo. Um, and I'm pretty sure, and you brought it up, Jose Herrera might be his personal catcher because there is no reason that that man should be playing as much as he is. Erod ended up going 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 earned, even though technically 2 weren't his, but they were on base because of him. It was when Shelby came in, and there in the seventh, he did have 5 strikeouts. So Sunderland is a strikeout pitcher, which is not really what I pictured for Eduardo. So we'll just have to wait and see. But really, the story of this game, and we're going to sound like a broken record, is the runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 14 in this game. That is atrocious against a team that was under 500 that really doesn't have any like major big time play. They have a lot of young guys that could be good, but there are a lot of unknown. You got Caminero, you got Magnum, you got freaking Simpson, who, Jesus Christ, is he fast? Wow, he is incredibly fast. Carroll decided, like, freaking Corbin's just on a freaking tear. So he is tied for the most home runs in the month of April in D-backs history with 9 after this game. I think I saw Gonzo's at like 13. So Carroll, you have a week to hit 5 if you want to have that record all to yourself. But the run is in scoring position is getting incredibly frustrating because again, they don't have to like be perfect at it, but you turn that 1 for 14 into 4 for 4, like 3 for 14 or 4 for 14, they win this game. They probably take game 3 on Thursday. They probably take at least 2 of them from the cut. Like, that's 4 right there. And you kind of brought it up in our chat. It makes us like 17-8 instead of 14-11. And that basically puts us in the same spot as the Giants, Padres, and Dodgers. So, they need to fix this, and they need to fix it now before it really starts to become a problem, because it could. Like, it could be one of those things where we don't see them going on streaks at all. Like, they'll like win 1, lose 2, or win 2, lose 3. Like, it's getting incredibly frustrating for me. But do you think this is just on the guys that aren't hitting right now, like Gino, Gurriel, Gabby? You could probably add Perdomo into that list now, the way that he's been really the last 2 or 3 weeks. Is it just all these guys going cold at once, or is it a whole team approach?
I mean, it's a team approach. Every time they have runners in scoring position, it's a lot of first pitch swinging. And we saw it today just over and over and over again. They would get a guy on second or third, 2 men on. It was swing at the first pitch, and then they would get the out automatically. Even the when Gabby got on in was it the ninth? Just Gino, I think, swing it only because they threw like super high in or something. But he swung at the second or third pitch, just an out, and then double him off. And Perdomo has just been hacking away at the first couple of pitches. I mean, he's been taking his walks, which is great. But when you have a guy on second, like, a walk is great, but you got to be able to at least hit a single or something to move him over. Like, you got to do something. And the guy who's really been doing that has been either Corbin or Naylor. But because the guys after them just haven't been doing as much, they can just pitch around them. They don't have to give them anything to hit. We saw it in this game in the 11th, was it? The 11th or whatever it was.
No. This game, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, in game 2. Corbin just pitched away 4 balls way out of the zone so they can get to Perdomo. And Perdomo just grounds out to double play, and the game ends. And then, they drop another one that they should have won, and they could have won. But this is a problem, and it's been a problem this whole season. I mean, once Cattell went down, also, that's something we talked about. Like, what does this mean for that? And it's to the point, like, we're bringing up Lawler. Like, something has to happen. They need a spark plug on this team because Gurriel, Gino, Gabby, now again, Perdomo, I just looked up his stats for the last 17 games. That's not a small sample size. That's not 2 or 3 games. That's 17 games where he's hitting barely over 200. But these other 4 guys hitting well over 100, hitting about 150 since Cattell went out, and I mean, Hampson, another black hole, Herrera, another black hole. It's truly just been, these games, Corbin, Pavin, and Alec. That's it. 3 out of 9 guys. There's 6 outs right there they can easily get, and it's just when this team goes cold, it all goes cold, and that's what the most frustrating thing is. It's like you have teams where like, all right, well, this guy's gonna be cold for a while, but now it's all of them. Like, there's when do we bring in Grichuk to play a little more often?
I was
When do we
just
again?
looking at he hasn't started a game, I think, since Milwaukee. Everything else is like he comes in for like 1 or 2 at bats in a pinch hit situation.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
they
with
need to
him, like I
bring,
said, I
they
mean,
need
he's.
to sit Lourdes for a couple days. Let Gucci play. Like, come on, like
I
you,
mean,
you
what are you gonna if he struggles? I mean, I don't think he's gonna struggle on defense. He's a decent defender, and like the main thing
yeah.
with Uriel that we've also talked about is just the fact that he makes flashy plays only because he misreads the ball, he's able to adjust, and then he catches a ball that, most really good defenders would just sit under the whole time. But he spins around a couple times and then he finally gets to the ball. So that's what makes him look a lot better than he truly is. Like there's a couple of misplays with the game I went to. He ended up catching them, but again, they were just kind of he's he's kind of like when you're playing MLB the Show and you're kind of just spinning the little analog stick around for your outfielder. That's kind of how he plays it out there. But putting Grichuk out there, especially that side of the field, I feel like he would do a decent enough job out there, like to where he's not hurting the team. And if he goes 1 for 4, that's still better than whatever we're getting from Gurriel these last few weeks or this last start of the season. It's just too many black holes on this team. Just anytime they get any sort of momentum going, the other team just knows, all right, so we have 5 guys in a row that we know we can get out, and they've been able to do it. And it's like how Scott Mack has too many dead weights, and I think that's kind of a apt way to compare them to. It's just a lot of dead weight. This team is just not producing, and it's really infuriating because they've had chance after chance after chance after chance to put teams away, and they just don't. Like we're talking about the bullpen struggles, the offense isn't doing enough for them. They have to be perfect every single time out. Like today, when Ryan Nelson went in, it was 4-3. Ryan Nelson, I guess Torrey expected him to throw 3 innings, but like he had no leeway to make any sort of mistake. Like you're telling the guy, hey, go out there and pitch 3 innings and make sure you can. They're all shutout innings, or else we're going 2 extras. And that's what happened. Like the offense didn't do enough, and they didn't score for 4 innings, 5 innings, whatever that was in a row. And same with this game, just a lot of zeros over and over and over again, just not moving runners over. And I think Jeff brings it up. No sacrifice bunts either, and especially in these situations in extra innings.
Okay, I'm about to go on a tangent, Jeff.
And then, like, here's the thing: like the one guy who is amazing at it, Perdomo, he's not doing it. He hasn't been doing it at all, and he's had a couple opportunities to do it, and he doesn't. And there's a couple of guys on this team who can bunt as well, and it's just you're sacrificing a lot of outs for no reason.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to go back to kind of what you said about Gurriel and him playing defense. There was a play in this game, the Danny Jansen ground rule double. I don't know why Gurriel was trying to make that play. That was all the way in left center. That is a play that Alec should be making, but I'm pretty sure Gurriel was the one that called him off. And they both were like like Alec wasn't even close because Gurriel was calling it like, I'm sorry, Gurriel, you should the only plays that you really should be making are balls in left field. Like that ball in left center, like that is a play that Alec should be making. I don't know if he's just like he's not taking charge, or he just gets nervous because I think Alec is only like 5'9". Gurriel's like 6 feet 6'1". So yeah, he's a lot bigger. He doesn't want to run into him. So yeah, like that play really frustrated me because I was at the game yesterday. And when I rewatched it, I'm like, what, like why is Gurriel the one trying to make that play? Like that should be the center fielder's ball. So that was frustrating to me. Yes, the first pitch swinging is getting very frustrating. Um, so the whole thing about sack bunts, Jeff brought it up in our Discord in the 10th inning. He suggested that Naylor bunt him over, get him to third, and then you have a guy on third with 2 outs. And I'm like, you're not going to do that with your number 4. Like, literally, the only guy that's hitting right now. Like, if Naylor wasn't the only guy hitting, like, if Gurriel and Gino behind him were hitting well, I would have been, okay, it's fine. But they're not hitting. To sacrifice an out with literally the only, like, literally the second guy that's hitting on your lineup right now, just couldn't do it. Yes, I know. A guy on third with 1 out, and the next 2 guys, they hit medium fly balls. They weren't deep enough. They were not. There's no way you could have had somebody score on those flyouts. Now, the next 2 batters could have been different if you did have a runner on third with 1 out. Like, they could have just pitched differently. Maybe you could have gotten some better pitches, or because the infield would have been in, could have gotten a ground ball right up the middle. Like, the entire outcome of the inning could have changed. You don't bunt with literally the only other guy outside of Carroll that is hitting right now. Like, you don't sacrifice. Like, what if Naylor would have gotten base hit? Game could have been over that way. That's why I don't like the whole sack bunt thing in extra innings. I also hate the freaking Manfred man rule. I think it's so stupid. I freaking hate it. But it's never going to go away because that's going to be the thing that he's going to be known for, and that is never going to change. But another thing that was frustrating in this game was the bullpen. Some of the choices I didn't understand. I get bringing in Shelby to get that. You had 2 guys out. You had a runner on second and third. So you want to just bring in a guy that hasn't given up a run all season. You're like, he can get the job done. He didn't. Those runs were not charged to him, so technically he has not given up a run, I think, on the season up to this point. But bringing in Ryan Thompson in the 8th, that's the one that I don't understand.
Yeah, that was one that I brought up even in our group chat. Like, I didn't tweet it out just because if I tweet it out, then I have a whole bunch of tour defenders in there saying like, well, you don't know who's available, who's red lined. Which, by the way, kind of saying it as red lined, like especially with the history of that word, it's kind of crazy thing to me.
So you brought up Dre, and I didn't say anything because Dre didn't look that great in the 11th. But I felt like there should have been somebody else.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he pitched the day before. He pitched Tuesday, so they brought him in again. That's when I was confused. I'm like, wait, Thompson again? Like, he already threw like 15 pitches the day before, and he looked good, but he's also facing the bottom of the Rays lineup. And in this case, I believe he was facing the 2, 3, and 4 guys, or 1, 2, 3. Like, he was facing actual like really good hitters and a kind of a couple of lefties as well. So it was a very weird and confusing situation, especially when, again, I brought up Fire Eyes, and again, he didn't look amazing today, but also extra innings. Same with Dre, extra innings. Like Shelby, extra. Like, there's just bringing in guy after guy after guy with with the runner already on second. Like, again, they have to be absolutely perfect. Like, there is no leeway for them.
Yeah.
And in this case, bringing in Ryan Thompson, I'm like, well, we kind of have to win this game, and you're up by, was it 1 run at that point? Was it 4-3?
Yeah.
They had the lead. Again, it seemed like a cut and dry. If J Mart was available, he gets the 9th, and then whoever it is, whether it's Shelby Miller, who came out for this game, I believe, Fire Eisen, Dre Jameson. I felt like there were better choices than Ryan Thompson, and which, like I said, with how much Tori talks about and everyone else talks about, like, oh, well, back-to-back days. You don't want these guys working back-to-back days. The first guy he puts in is the guy who's working back-to-back days. And same with today, too. Like, half of these guys were working on back-to-back days. So
So the thing with Shelby though is he only threw like I think he faced 2 or 3 batters on Wednesday, so I can understand why he came out for this game. My issue is Ryan Thompson is no longer a high leverage guy. Ryan Thompson should not be getting the eighth, the ninth, any. Okay, maybe you want to bring him in for extras, but the only thing I can think of is because of all the somewhat young guys that they have with Dre and Murillo. That
Oh, that's another
Ryan,
guy. Yeah, I brought up as well. But again, I didn't tweet it out because I was like, well, he pitched yesterday, so he's probably not going to be available. And he came out anyway, so that's why I'm like,
well, it's because it went to extras.
well, no, he
Yeah,
pitched the ninth.
no, he pitched the 10th on.
Was it the 10th? Yeah.
Yeah, because
But then that means he wasn't red line then.
yeah, I don't like. It's so confusing. Again, it's just something that we aren't going to know as to what guys are actually available for what games. I just, for me, when you get those last 3 innings, 7th, 8th, and ninth, I would rather have a guy that gets guys to swing and miss than a guy that is basically relying on guys hitting the ball. And that's Ryan Thompson. Like his stuff is made to weak contact ground balls, and that's just not the way that the game is now. That you want with your high end bullpen guys. You want guys that swing and miss, whether that's with a fastball or a breaking ball. Juan Murillo's fastball is disgusting. I think he's played 2 games now because he had Chicago and then he had this game. He's looked really, really good. So I think he's definitely he needs to stay up here because I think Ginkle had his rehab start today, so hopefully that went well. I hadn't really checked on how that start went for Ginkle, so hopefully we're
Well,
not
yeah, I
too.
saw it. It was, I think, 2 innings. He allowed like a couple of runs, but again, it's not like they're not looking at the results. They're
No.
more looking more like progress, how his fastball's coming out, as curveball. Like it's just mostly to make sure that the pitches have the right shape, the right velocity, and like the right spin rate. So all in all, it seemed like with spring training, you're just looking at how he looks rather than the
Okay.
actual end results.
Okay. So sounds like another rehab start for sure. So, and I guess Graveman is about a week behind what he is. So we're probably next week, hopefully, Graveman, because we need both these guys back so bad, ladies and gentlemen. We need Ginkle and Graveman back so bad. So we'll move on here to game number 3, started by Corbin Burns. Looked amazing for 5 innings. I believe he didn't give up a hit till the 4th. We finally saw him strike some guys out. He finished with 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts. He did have 3 walks, so that is a little much. And he did have an error because he wasn't looking the ball into his glove. You can see on the replay when they slowed it down, as the ball gets to his glove, he's looking at home plate. He was trying to make a play. I get it, but secure the ball first, please. So he looked really, really good. But again, we still have not seen, in my opinion, a complete good start from him. He was good for the most part. I would say this was probably his best start so far. So we're trending in the right direction with Burns. But with the state of our offense right now, and I don't want to throw up the white flag or the panic button because it's April. We haven't even played 30 games, but we have seen what happens when we get to August and September, and we are not in control of our destiny. That's, I think, the main thing that a lot of people are worried about is they're worried we're going to get to August and September, and this series right here, losing 2 to a team that we should have beaten in all 3, could be the reason that we don't make the playoffs. Everyone's going to look back on that. I'm not, because there's going to be so many other examples as to why they didn't make it.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. Like I do agree with what you said about there's gonna be a lot more examples, but the point I always bring up is like if you have the lead, especially going into the eighth and ninth, you have to win those games.
Yes.
And so far, the Cubs, you had that one against Cubs, and then these two. That's 3 games that you had in hand, but because of baffling bullpen decisions, whatever it may be, specific like running scoring position and terrible bullpen decisions. That's 3 games. This team could have be 17-8 right now if they were able to take these 3 games that they had in hand. Again, it's not like they were losing and then it's a tie game or whatever it is going into the eighth. They had the lead in the eighth inning for these 3 games and haven't been able to put them away, and that's such a huge problem. And that's what I mean about like these are things you have to fix, and you have to be able to escape these games with the win. Because if you don't, again, that's the difference between being 9 games over 500 and 3 games.
Yeah,
That's how drastic it is.
Now we would still be a wild card if the season ended today. By the way, we'd be the final wild card because Phillies are 13-12, so we would, in terms of like a winning.
We'd be facing the Cubs as well, right?
Correct. Yes.
So that's kind of my issue.
Yeah, but Cubs have some devil magic. I don't know if like I know what's going on, Gabe, with that Cubs and Dodgers series, but I don't know how many of the fan base, but that series with the Cubs and Dodgers just like last few days was Cubs devil magic is definitely going on within.
Yeah,
for sure.
Honestly, what it is, I think, is the wind in Wrigley. That's been changing everything. Just if you hit it in the right way, you get the ball up in the air. If the wind is blowing the right way, it's a home run. And for the D-backs, even that last game that they played, Alec hit a ball super, super hard, but the wind was literally blowing in.
Yeah, it was
literally blowing in. If you look at that, it was like 100.
Nope. It literally
105 off the bat. I mean, that thing would have been like damn near hitting the screen in Chase Field, and it just died at the warning tracks. And so it's just one of those things. It's Coors Field right now there, and in October it also turns into Coors Field because of the wind. So that's what we mean about like being able to put some of these teams away. Like you don't want to have to face them when they know how to adapt to their wind and weather change a lot better than you.
Yeah, I want this team to be in control of their own destiny when we come to those last few weeks of September. I don't want us to be one of those things where like, okay, Cubs and Brewers are playing. Who do we need to root? Like I don't want that. I want us to be all right. You win your game. Who cares what anyone else is doing? So you just got to be within those last 3 wild card spots. Because right now, 17-8 be the same record as the Padres, by the way, who are in first place. Again, we're only 3 games back. Like it's not like yes, it's worrisome because of how we have been playing, especially with that running like lack of runners in scoring position issue. So that is very frustrating. Also, defense. What in the actual hell's going on? This is like the thing with Gino last year is even though he wasn't hitting, he was playing decent defense. He's not doing that this year. Like he's not doing it. Like this is why I want them to call Lawler up, not just for a spark of the bat, so that you can give Gino some off days at least. Because there is no like, I would rather play Gino than have Hampson play third base, because he is an automatic out. Gino, there's the slight chance that he'll surprise us and he'll hit a homer or a double. Like, we're not going to get that with Hampson. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. So, yeah. Tori, Mike, if you feel like surprising us as a fan base in the next 24 hours and calling up Lawler and designating for assignment Garrett Hampson, I wouldn't be angry about it. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they make another bullpen move, because this bullpen, like, you can definitely tell, like, they are tired. This is their 3rd extra inning game in 4 days. So I feel like they need a fresh arm. And in my opinion, it needs to be JP Fireisen. He is not a major league pitcher. He's just
Yeah,
not.
I mean, and we talked about it before. Kyle Backus
Yes.
is doing very good in Reno. Again, like we talk about, how sometimes when the guys have a really high ERA, like, oh, well, it's Reno, just, temporary expectations, just sometimes with the way the ball flies. But he had like a 2.5 ERA or even a 1.5 ERA. Last time I checked, it might have gone up a little bit now. By the way, Kyle Backus, I believe he's a lefty as well, unless I'm
Yes.
wrong.
That's
Lefty
something
throws
else we
hard.
need. We need
Another
another
left,
lefty in the pen.
Beeks I hit today. Like he got taken out of the game because he had a comebacker. So we don't know how long he's going to be out, if he's going to be out. So we need somebody else. So again, yeah, I agree. I think for this series, again, like we talked about last series against the Cubs, don't be reactive, be proactive. Mike specifically, obviously, Tori doesn't have control of these sort of roster moves, but in this
So
case,
I think he has a slight control. He tells Mike what he needs. So I'm
yeah,
hoping he's doing that. So
yeah. So with him, it's just again, we need a fresh arm. I know the Braves haven't started off the season that great, but it's the Braves. We've seen what happens when they play the Braves. They really struggle against them. Right now, they don't have Ronald Acuna Jr., but they're coming off pretty hot. They're 6-4 of the last 10. They have they're really making some headway now, and especially compared to how they started, they're kind of almost a 500 team. They started off, what was it, 2-8 or something like that. They started off terribly.
well, it's because they played the Padres and then the Dodgers. So that's
Yeah,
not
I mean they
that's
start off terribly,
that's
but they've been able to slowly come back, and at least be at a more respectable number. Where you look at that team, you're like, okay, as soon as Acuna comes back, maybe this team could actually be making a run for the playoffs. I know uh, Quadzilla,
10,
isn't
10 and
Strider is
14.
yeah, 10-14. That's not a terrible record. Again, we've seen the Braves team just turn it on, and again, they're without Ronald Acuna Jr. So as soon as he comes back, we might have a better or clearer picture of what that team is. But yeah, again, Gino, Perdomo, Hampson, that's three guys I think that Jordan Lawler can take playing days from right now, and it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating.
That
Like
is.
we need something. Like this team desperately needs something. They can't just keep scoring 4 runs, 5 runs, maybe. Like I know we've talked about that should be enough, but because of the defense, those even though they're coming out with 1 or 2 runs earned because of how bad the defense has been, that they also get a couple more runs added on top of that. It's like a weird tax right now that they get. So it's like, oh yeah, sure, we have 1 run, but we have two tax runs earned as well. So now instead of it being 4-1, it's 4-3, and now the bullpen has to be absolutely perfect because the offense isn't doing its job.
Yeah. So Kyle Backus on the season, 8 games, 9 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts with a 2 ERA. So hopefully, I would really like them to make that move. We'll see what they do. I just think they need like another fresh arm. So that means Gallon tomorrow. You need so we'll just kind of transition here. Braves and D-backs series preview. It'll be Gallon versus Sale, Kelly versus Holmes, and Pfaadt versus Schwellenbach. So yeah, I don't want to say that. I don't think we win this series until Gino starts hitting. Like the thing with me with Gurriel is he's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting it at people. That's the thing. He just needs to find some grass. Gallon is 1-3 with a 5.60 ERA. Sale is 0-2 with a 6.17 ERA. So it's a battle of guys who have not lived up to their normal billing to start the season. Kelly is 3-1 with a 4.73 ERA. Crazy to me that in like 4 starts, I think he's brought down his ERA by like 5.5 runs. That is like The way he looked against the Yankees, so bad. Jesus, that was. But also, I think Toy left him in for a little bit too long than he should have. Holmes is 2-1 with 3.22 ERA. Sunday's going to be the game to watch, you guys. Brandon Pfaadt, 4-1, 2.73 ERA versus Schwellenbach, 1-1 with a 2.56 ERA. But for me, it's offense, please. Like, I need you guys to play consistently throughout the game. I'm tired of seeing this. Oh, we scored 4 runs the first 4 innings, and then we get retired freaking 12, 13 in a row. Now it's the 8th inning, and the game's tied. So it's just
and
I
this,
don't
I
know
mean,
what's
like how V. Can you let us know? Is it V or Vi? Because I can never tell. But she says until Catel's back, no series wins for us, and that's honestly how it feels. Like the real series win was against the Marlins, who are just not a good team. I mean, this Rays team is plugging around 500. They have some injuries, but they also just have a lot of really good, talented young pitchers. And that's the thing. Is like we want to give credit as well. It's not like we're trashing these teams like the Cubs or even the Rays. They have good pitching staffs. Like the only difference is because of the money, the I guess pedigree of the guys on this team comparatively, the expectations are a lot higher for this team than they are for a team like the Rays, where with the Rays, you're like, all right, they're a couple moves away from, being able to fully rebuild and be back, at the top of the NL East, just because, you have other teams on there who are a little bit further in development. But again, you have to take this series. You have to be able to get back because, again, 16-12 sounds a lot better than 15-13 if they lose the series.
so it's V.
V. Okay, V. All right. So yeah, you don't want to get buried. And right now, with and like we talked about the Giants and even the Padres coming down to earth at some point, but you don't want that to be way too late into the season where they win 90 games. Right now, the D-backs are on pace for 89 wins. That's not enough. That's not going to be enough.
Again, it's not a bad season, but it's not
No,
enough with the state
this
of
team's on pace to
the National
win
League.
the exact same amount of games as last year, and they were out of the playoffs because of a tiebreaker in one game. They're on pace to do that exact same thing this year, and that's when I get worried. When I'm like, something has to change. This offense has to start clicking. This defense has to start clicking. And I mean, it's a broken record. I'm like, we have a guy who can fix both those issues right now.
Yes, we do. These next 3 weeks are gonna be a test for this fan base to see which ones will be like doom and gloom after every loss, and which ones are like, okay, we still got some time because they got 3 against the Braves. Then they go play the Mets. They then go play the Phillies. Then we come home and we play the Mets and the Dodgers, and we play 3 against the Giants. That is a tough 3-week stretch. That is a very tough 3-week stretch, and I really hope that we get Cattell back at the start of it. I'm still kind of on board with the May 1st. That's what I'm hoping. So hopefully by this time next week, we'll have some news about Cattell. If not, Hazen, you need to make the decision. You need to bring up Lawler because Lawler's OPS right now is over 1,000. Like, you cannot have him play in Reno while Gino continues to stink up the joint. You just can't do that. Unless Gino starts to hit, then I'm okay. But if Gino continues to go 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, has an error in the field, you just can't do it. Because it's just like Toy's probably getting frustrated with Gino again. He's like, so what happened to the guy that was on tear for 3 months? Why'd you completely go back to the guy that you were in the first half of last season? So
and that's the thing. It's like we know, like everybody said it when we got him from Seattle. Everybody, like the Seattle fans, were saying like, yeah, this is who he is in the first half. He turns it on in the second half, which I know sometimes you have to put up with it a little bit. But with Gurriel not being good, with Gabby not being good, like we have so many guys who are just not contributing.
yeah,
we can't afford to have Gino being this bad. Like, we
Gabby
we
is
have
also on the way up. He had
yeah, a lot of good contact. He's been making a lot of good contact just against rigid defenders, like you're saying.
you're
It's
like,
just
oh!
infuriating. But again, it's like when you're talking about 6 guys being automatic outs, I think that's such a huge problem.
It is.
And Corbin, at some point, he is gonna go on a slump. Like it just happens. And right now, I believe even Pavin is over his last 6. He has a couple walks in there, but he's also not been hitting great either. Perdomo, we brought him up another 0 for 4, I think, today. Like you can't win and survive in the NL West like this. And once you start playing in division games, like what is this team going to look like? Are they going to be, firing on all cylinders, or is this what they're going to be like?
Yeah, I hope that they really do end up figuring this out because it is frustrating to watch. Um, and we brought this up last year, and we kind of got a little shit for it about the whole like because it still looks like they're going for the power. That's not
Mhm.
what this team is. This is not what this team needs to be. This team needs to be chaos ball. We have not truly seen that on a consistent basis for a very long time. Like they'll do it for like a game or two, and then they'll go back to trying to hit homers. And they said it on the broadcast today. Since Jerry hit his big home run against the Marlins, that's what he's been trying to do. And Torrey and the coaches have told him that's not who you are. Because if you've noticed, since then, he's had a lot of swing and miss, a lot of strikeouts, really since then. And that's another reason we need Cattell back. We need so then we can put Jerry back in the 9 hole. Like I know for a while we were like, oh, maybe we put like Jerry stay in the 2 hole, Cattell go in the 3 hole. No, I think Jerry should just go back to that number 9 spot. Um, Scott, could Gino be sent to Reno? I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any options left, so they'd have to designate him for assignment. So that's another reason probably why he's up here. But you could designate for assignment Garrett Hampson, bring up Jordan Lawler. So and we're gonna be probably saying that until they do because there at this point there's no reason. There's
Yeah.
no reason why he should not be up here right now. Like,
Yeah.
I know that I said that probably the reason is they don't have any idea what to do with him. I don't agree with that. I'm just trying to because that's the only thing that makes sense. Like they don't know how to get him those consistent at bats, and I'm like, well, you haven't played third for Gino because he can't hit right now. Jerry's not hitting right now, so you put him at shortstop. You put Cattell at DH and you put Lawler at second. Like you literally could do that in an entire series. So there's
Yeah.
probably 9, 10, 11 at bats, and that there's no reason why he literally could not play out of 6 games a week, 4 of them, just by doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I brought up as well. It's like, okay, he can give Gino a day off. He can give Perdomo a day off. Like those 2 guys seem like they really need a day off to get their minds right because they play every day and they've just been struggling horribly. And then giving Tawa a day off. Like again, Tawa's been, pretty good, but it's all right if you give him a day off as well, like every once in a while, just because again, he is still a younger guy, still needs to get some reps. But DH, we have a need at DH at times. I know Pavin's been very good, but they put
Naylor
in
needs a day off too.
Like there's a few guys that I feel like needs a day off, and they've been everyday guys, which is good. Like that's what we want to see. Like that's what we talked about, like Lavella giving guys consistent at bats. But at some point, some of these guys are going to need at least one day off, and especially the guys who are struggling. And there's a really good way to have Lawler in there every single day. And again, we mentioned it. Cattell, when he comes back, he's playing part time. He's not going to be playing every single day. And he's not going to be playing every single day at second either. So he's playing 3 games, 2 games, yes, 2 games off, and then plays the last 2. Like we don't know what the ramp up is going to be for him. And if he had this injury already, who knows if he's going to have it again throughout the season. Like, it's just these hamstring injuries just are reoccurring. Like, look at Devin Booker, look at Ketel Marte, and like these things can be reoccurring for guys who suffer from this sort of thing. And it's just, again, like I feel like they could have him and they could have had him up this entire time. It's just, I don't know. There's no real plan for him. And I just wanted to bring up real quick as well, like if they struggle against the Braves and they get swept by the Braves, they have the Mets coming as well, who are playing very, very good. And we've seen how this team plays against.
They've only really have you looked at
their 18? Schedule? But I mean, they're still getting it done. Like that's what matters. Look at the D-back schedule. They should have swept the Rays, but they didn't. So the Mets are getting the job done with bad teams as well. So the Mets are coming in hot. So we played and seen how this team plays against the Mets. They just collapse every single time they play against them. Same with the Braves. Whatever it is, it's the jerseys, like the laundry. They just cannot get past it or something.
We don't have Miguel Castro, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Somebody else.
It might be somebody else. But also, if they lose these next 5 games, last year they started 14-7. They would start 14-6 at the end of this month as well. So they really got to shape up. And I know you're talking about doom and gloom. Like there's a lot of people who think we're doom and gloom. I mean, we report what happens during the series. Like, yeah, of course. If we waited a whole month to do a show, then that's a lot different.
Again, we don't say fire Torrey after every loss. Like I see those tweets all the freaking time. Like fire Torrey after every loss. Like he's not the one committing errors at third. He's not the one that's striking out. Like those ones are on now. The choosing which guys to come out of the bullpen, that one's on him. Like I'll say that one. But the hitting struggles, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, like again, in this case, it's not Torrey, it's Hazen, who hasn't brought up Lawler. So at that point, it's just kind of wait and see. And I don't know, man. It's just when you see a series go the way this one did, something has to be done. Like this team can't continue on this way, and they're relying on Ketel to come back. And again, he's not going to be playing every day, but where's the guarantee that Ketel is going to be hitting 300 again right off the bat?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that's going to happen.
Like, he could go like 3 for his first 20. We have no idea. So, let's just hope that I want some move made tomorrow, whether it's Lawler or adding a fresh bullpen arm, Kyle Backus. That would be great. So we do appreciate everyone for stopping by and just being here with us as we vent our frustrations about this series loss. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you do get notified every time we go live. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you're an audio listener. Check us out on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We do have a Discord. The link is in the description box below. Also, make sure to check us out on AZ Snake Pit, our articles, but the other articles by the great writers over there. Do some great stuff over there. We'll see you all next time on D-Backs Dispatch.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Desert heat, but we own this town. Brennan gave on the call. With Josh in the back, bringing it all. Fastballs from the bats at night. 9 innings deep, we fight all night. Wins and losses, highs and lows. We break it down, yeah, that's how it goes. D-Backs Dispatch, turn it